Welcome back to the Mindfulness is Life podcast. I am Mica, your host and your mindfulness guide. This podcast is a place where you can come and hopefully get guidance to navigate life in a mindful, non-judgmental, aware of self, and living your best intentions in each moment kind of way. Join me, your mindfulness guide, on this Mindfulness is Life journey. Today, we're diving into a powerful practice that can help you live with more intention and purpose. We're going to talk about mindful self-assessment. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know where you're going, you will be lost and you'll be caught up in the desires of others. And that's where you have frustration a lot of times, where you don't really know what is it you're trying to do. And so have you ever stopped and asked yourself, who am I truly at my core? Not just your name or who everybody else says you are. What values are important to you? Asking yourself, how do you want to navigate the world? How do you want to show up in the world? And these are profound questions. And self-assessment through mindfulness can be a transformative tool to find the answers. And these are the answers that only you have. But first, we have to acknowledge the challenge, because in all of this, we have to talk about the reality. It may not be easy. Self-work can be difficult. It can be a forgotten process as we're living through life. You're doing all the things that you need to do that are pressing and important. You're doing the things that others need you to do. And sometimes you forget to check in with yourself. And so this is your reminder. Time for a self-assessment, a self-check-in. Being in a fast-paced world that's full of a lot of external noise, a lot of, there's always something to do, right? And there's judgment. So it's easy to get caught up in those daily demands and lose touch of our inner self because of that busyness and the desire maybe to please other people with our actions. And then this can lead to that disconnection, lack of clarity about the direction or where you truly want to go. Our time on earth is not infinite. And so it's really important that in this moment, if you're able to, listen to this and have the time to devote to this, it is important to do your self-work or your self-assessment. And you might say, okay, well, how can mindfulness help? Right? Mindfulness, it is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It allows you to step back and observe your thoughts and feelings and gain a deeper understanding of who you are. We live in a judgmental world, but with this self-practice, this time away with yourself, for yourself, you can see it, you can address it, and it doesn't have to be filled with judgment, just allowing it to be what it is. We'll get to some questions that you're going to ask yourself, and you get to hold space for whatever comes from it, whatever these answers are. And through mindful self-assessment, we then are able to identify our core values, those principles that guide our decisions and our actions. And you should be able to answer this question: what matters most to you? Is it kindness, integrity? Is it creativity? Is it autonomy? Or is it something totally different? But what matters most to you? And these are your values. These are the things that help you identify who you are. And they're yours, your values, right? It's not it may not be the same of the people that you love the most. You get to decide, you get to identify what are your values and then embrace them, because then that shows you who you truly are. And once you then identify your values, you can explore how you want to show up in the world. Living a mindful life, being non-judgmental, you can show up even the more unapologetically. Because guess what? I know you might judge it, but I've already given myself these permissions, so it doesn't matter, how other people might inflict their judgment on you. But once you've done your self-work, how do you want to show up in this world? Do you want to be known for your compassion? Do you want to be known for your sense of humor, for your dedication to a cause? Mindfulness will allow you to bridge the gap between your values because you're going to sit with yourself and identify them, and then your actions, because within mindfulness practice, you get to reflect based on how, let me look at yesterday, or, the end of the day, or, the end of an interaction. Is that how I wanted to show up? Yes or no? And then guess what? No judging, because it is what it is. It happened. It was what it was. But now, how do I move forward? How do I bridge this gap between what are my values, and then what are the actions that I want to exhibit daily, in each moment? And in future exploration of self assessment, you'll be able to answer, does how others perceive me match how I want to be seen? And I feel like that's a different question for a different time, but you have to do your self work. You have to know, your self assessment to know, how do I want to show up? And then is there alignment in that and my actions? And no matter where you are on this journey of self assessment, you could be just getting started, like, hey, I didn't even know I was supposed to be doing this. Or maybe you are continuing on this journey and you're checking in with yourself and you're making those necessary adjustments as needed. No matter where you are on this journey, you can participate in this mindfulness self assessment exercise right now. And for this exercise, you will need time and a place where you can have uninterrupted time if possible. So if you need to pause and come back to this, please feel free to do that. But we're going to go ahead and proceed with this mindfulness exercise during this time and place dedicated for this introspection that you have laid out time for. I want you to sit comfortably in a relaxed yet alert position, in that place where you can be free from distractions. And right now, focus on your breath. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Allow your body to release tension with each exhale. Let each inhale last longer than the one before. And let your exhales be longer than your inhales. And after those 3 deep breaths, allow yourself to return to your regular breathing rate and rhythm. And throughout this exercise, allow yourself to notice how your body is moving as you inhale and exhale. And I will pose some questions for you to ask yourself. They will help you explore what is important to you, what your values are, and your life's desires. With each question, give yourself the time you need to answer. And it's okay if nothing comes to you at first. This is a process. You come back to it. It is also normal for your attention to shift focus during mindfulness exercises. That's normal. So stay kind to yourself. And if it happens, take a pause, take a moment to focus on your breathing. Notice your inhale and your exhale for a few cycles of breath. And then return to the self-assessment exercise when you're ready. And the following questions I will ask are ones that only you in this moment of your life can answer. The questions will reveal to you a little bit more about yourself if you're courageous to answer them. And with this new knowledge you get to choose what you do about it, because knowledge is power. And so we'll hold space and time for you to ask yourself these questions. What brings me joy? Is it a thing? Is it a person? Is it a place? But truly identify what brings you joy. And as you continue to think about all of these questions, you can always come back to this and you can write them down if needed. So you don't forget, like, oh yeah, what about that thing that really makes me happy? And there's no thing too small or too big. Just write down what comes to you, what your mind reminded you of, or what you're confirmed in knowing, like, oh yeah, that is one thing, if nothing else, that is going to bring me some joy. Now take a deep cleansing breath, a deep inhale and exhale to get ready to ask yourself the next question. What qualities do I strive to embody in my life? What qualities do I strive to embody in my life? It could be every interaction, it could be every day, it could be monthly, quarterly, when I check in with myself. But what is it that you strive? What is it you want to embody in your life? What are those qualities? And once again, you may come up with a list of things. And no judgment if you're not sure. Come back to this question. What qualities do I strive to embody in my life? And take another deep cleansing breath as we get ready to ask yourself the next question. What are some things I would never compromise on? To thy own self be true. You have to know where you draw your line in the sand. What are some things that you would never compromise on? So asking yourself, what are some things I would never compromise on? And be ready to identify that list of things or thing. And once again, there's no judgment in your answers. Don't be afraid of uncomfortable truths that come up for you. Simply acknowledge your thoughts and your feelings and your answers for what they are. They are yours. This is your journey of self-assessment. What are some things I would never compromise on? And take another deep cleansing breath to get ready to ask yourself the next question. And this will be our final question. What kind of legacy do I hope to leave behind? This is a look to the future that requires intention and action for right now and until then. So, what kind of legacy do I hope to leave behind? And as you think about that question, allow yourself the space to answer that. And it's okay if you don't have the answers right now. Take the time you need to find them. And your brain is always working. So these answers may reveal themselves to you when you're ready. And that's okay. No judgment when they show up. You might be like, really? Oh, a month later, we came up with this answer. I've been asking for a month. So be it. Mindfulness, right? Mindfulness is life. There's no judgment for how you come to the answers and the reflections and these moments that come. And so, this final question, what kind of legacy do I hope to leave behind? Take the time you need to find the answers. And this is for all of those questions. And when you have the answers, be okay with writing them down so you can come back to them and reflect on that and identify if there's even more to add to it. And as we come to the end of this mindfulness exercise, you're going to take 3 deep breaths and you're going to notice any sensations or movement in your body that's getting your attention. And give yourself permission to revisit this episode as needed. Your answers to these questions may change, and that is okay. You are allowed to evolve. Remember to offer yourself kindness and don't judge the answers that come to you, because that will allow you to continue to grow. Mindful self assessment is a continuous process. And as you learn and grow, your values and your priorities, they may evolve. Revisit this practice regularly to stay aligned with your authentic self. Remember that mindfulness is a journey, it is not a destination. Be patient with yourself as you navigate the process of self discovery. And if you found this episode helpful, subscribe to the podcast and join our Mindfulness is Life community. Share your experiences and your questions. Use the hashtag mindfulness is life. And together we can support each other on this journey of mindful living. Until next time, remember, mindfulness is life, and you got this.